up to the mound to get right in front of K-Rod, making sure he didn't get ejected. And among many other things this season that he's done, obviously he's put up great numbers. Do you think he's taken the role as a leader on this team? Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I'll point to an article which you guys may not have caught because it's behind the paywall there at Newsday, but Dave Lennon talked about back right before the Subway Series when they were on that disappointing Atlanta-Washington trip, and Jeff Wilpon had to visit the team and make that emergency visit in Atlanta. And really, from all indications that I've been told, Jerry was really very much on a day in and day out job watch. I think there was a chance that he was going to get fired. And if they had played poorly against the Yankees, I have a pretty good gut feeling that he would have been gone shortly thereafter. And David felt that the team was kind of drifting. And he went into Manuel's office and told him, he says, we need to have a team meeting. And Jerry, I think, to Dave Lennon's description, got all 25 guys into his office at Citi Field, which I've never seen Jerry's office at Citi Field, so I'm assuming it's pretty big, but that's, in and of itself, is an accomplishment, getting 25 guys in there. And they had their team meeting, they discussed it, and really up until this weekend, or maybe just a little bit before the All-Star break, they've been playing pretty well. And David is the guy that has, really spurred that, and there's talk of how he's been able to get in people's faces, not on the field, but more so behind the scenes discreetly. This is now David's team. It's not Carlos Delgado's team. It's not Willie Randolph's team. It's David Wright's team. And I think that if he's going to set the tone, like you said, as the leader, as the guy that's going to put things on his shoulder, first he's got to produce, which he's done. And he made the adjustments he needed to make when he was really struggling earlier on. And second, he's got to police that clubhouse and make sure that anyone who walks through that door is whatever I'll use this, what the Mets way is, and there's a lot of snickering probably with saying that because they've made so many mistakes manager-wise, but they adhere to the Mets way or the kind of culture they want in that clubhouse. That is David's responsibility, and it sounds like from reports is that he's done that. And you don't necessarily see it always on the field because of his temperament out there, but you made a great point. Again, today he got in front of K-Rod because David knows K-Rod goes much further, and actually while we were on the phone, I saw the replay of how the umpire came out from behind the plate and went kind of at it with K-Rod. K-Rod gets ejected, and I'm surprised he didn't. Now you're looked at a situation where a guy has to come in, not fresh, and in a tough spot with tying runs on, winning runs coming up, and that's usually a recipe for failure. And that's usually a recipe for a loss. And sure enough, David came in, stemmed the tide. K-Rod didn't get the job done, but at the very least, you had the best pitcher, in theory, pitching those final two innings because Wright intercepted and didn't allow it to get out of control.
Yeah, I got to agree. And again, real quick, now I know I'm shooting far ahead here, but if the Mets do end up doing what you predict, 85 wins, Jerry Manuel, like you said, the manager's always the first one to get the finger pointed at, the first one to be gone. Is Bobby Valentine a realistic hiring for this team, or is that a long shot for this team?
I talked to this off the air with a fan the other day, and I just don't see it. I don't know where Bobby wants to go. Clearly, he wants to go to a stable environment. I don't know what the Wilpons want. I think Bobby wants a lot of say in what goes on. I'm not sure what his relationship is with the Wilpons. I don't think it's bad. The only situation I see with Bobby coming in is twofold. A, they don't believe in Wally Backman. Because by all intents and purposes, Bob Klapisch has reported this. I can tell you this from personal experience. Jeff loves Wally Backman. He in Klapisch's quote that was put in that article back in, I think, late May, where Jeff told Wally that one day if you stay out of trouble, you're going to manage this team. I can assure you that's 100% accurate. Klapisch is on the money with that. I know that for a fact. Now, whether he sticks to that, a lot of things are said in the moment that change over the course of time. So I'm not saying that Wally Backman, put it in stone, he's going to be the next manager of the Mets. But the only way I see Valentine coming in is if Minaya is severely, and he already has his power taken away, but Minaya is pushed to the side, and there's somebody that Valentine can work with, whether it's Wayne Krivsky, John Ricco, whoever's in there now, and is willing to put their ego aside to let Bobby V be the quote-unquote face of this team, or, I'll use the term Pat Riley, that kind of personality. Because I think that's what Bobby wants. My gut tells me Washington is where he ends up. Not because I know anything, because I think that situation is more stable than the Florida situation or the Baltimore situation ownership-wise. And I think Bobby would look at the talent there and could bring that team together, and they have a bright future. That's just a guess. I don't know if that's what's going to happen. I just don't see the Mets going the Valentine route. I see more if they're, and I would personally not renew Jerry's option. I wouldn't. I see a Wally Backman, or at the very least a short term like a Bob Melvin with Backman kind of his shadow, and I see that over the next couple of years versus them committing to Bobby Valentine for 4 years. Because in a way, sequels are not always as good as the first time around, and the expectation